everyone, this is Pico Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to take a look back at the 1990s cop thriller Blue Steel. Released on the 16th of March 1990, it stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Ron Silver, Clancy Brown, and it was one of the earlier directorial efforts from Kathryn Bigelow. Set in present day, the story follows rookie police officer Megan Turner, who in her first major encounter kills a robber within a convenience store. Unable to find the robber's gun at the crime scene, Megan is disciplined by her superiors for being far too trigger happy at the scene and is suspended. We see later that the gun was stolen by business trader Eugene Hunt, who suffers from mental and psychological impulses and goes on a killing spree with the gun within the city. Shortly afterwards, he begins to date Megan, and what seems like the perfect partnership is turned into a nightmare when Megan discovers Eugene's true nature. What then follows is a relentless fight for survival as Eugene continually stalks and torments Megan relentlessly as she battles for her life. Now, when looking back at Blue Steel, it's a strange film really, where a very questionable script is at times saved by certain execution and filmmaking style. Very much the early phases of her career, director Kathryn Bigelow shows those flashes of brilliance and bravado movie making that we would see within her later films following this effort, using a varying amount of tracking shots, quick editing and slow motion to generate more of that sense of action, sometimes when it's not really there. But there is a sense of atmosphere and at times tension throughout these sequences, and a certain sophistication throughout the direction. What bolsters the movie even further is the excellent musical score by Brad Fiedel. Of course, we all know him from the Terminator movies, so no surprises that the music is of a high quality and standard, which again helps amp up the suspense when required. Aesthetically, the movie stays very true to its title. There's a certain blue chrome look at times to the scenery. Now, how deliberate that was by Bigelow, I'm not so sure, but there are signs again of how skilled she was at creating a visual look and style to her films. And the movie's eeriness is elevated by Ron Silver's performance as Eugene. Though there isn't that extra context to his character's erraticness or obsession with Megan, there are moments where it does certainly ramp up the intensity, and the threat level is truly there at times. Jamie Lee Curtis is also very good in a lead role here, providing that right balance of resolve and vulnerability, showing enough strength within her character without being the overcompetent girl boss that gets associated so many times within female lead characters, especially in today's movies. But for all of the movie's qualities, there are issues, as mentioned before, with the overall script. When we look at what happens throughout the film, there remains too many illogical scenarios that play out, whether it's the lack of forthcoming witnesses within the robbery scene, Eugene's ability to locate Megan at any point, the overall lack of protection or surveillance surrounding Megan or Eugene long after he is drawn into suspicion of being the overall stalker and murderer. There's also an element of repetition as Eugene continuously stalks Megan and then manages to get away at the last minute. Now, once or twice I think overall is fine, but we see this run of events happen again and again and again, and it's almost as if Kathryn Bigelow has to keep coming up with excuses to keep the running time going, even when the story could have been wrapped up a long time ago. Even at a short 99 minutes, the film does feel overlong and a bit dragged out, even when we get the climactic final encounter, which is somewhat at odds with the overall storyline and how it's played. And unfortunately, because of those questions with the overall narrative, it does take away a lot of the high stakes, because instead of immersing yourself in the action, you are wondering exactly what is going on and how each character is managing to do what they do. Now, as mentioned, Blue Steel was very much in the early phases of Kathryn Bigelow's career, and it wasn't very much of a box office success, grossing around $8 million on its overall release. It was one of the few leading roles of Jamie Lee Curtis, who of course was most famously known for the Halloween films. And whilst it's a forgotten entry within Bigelow's career, I do think within Blue Steel you can see certainly the flashes of potential that are shown within Kathryn Bigelow's style, her ability to certainly inject a certain pace and energy into the overall action sequences. Now, of course, she would, for me and for a lot of fans, go on to finally fulfill that great potential the following year from this overall release, with of course the magnificent Point Break, which still remains one of the best action films of the 1990s, and it probably is still overall the best movie within Bigelow's career, and definitely overall the most successful in terms of box office. She would go on to have further entries such as Strange Days later on, starring Ralph Fiennes and Angela Bassett, with the movie Zero Dark 30 in the early 2000s. But overall, Blue Steel is a sound, efficient, if sometimes questionable cop thriller, very well stylized and directed, but a few loopholes and issues with the script rob it from being the truly great movie that it had certainly potential to be. But overall, it was a good sounding point for Kathryn Bigelow before she would go on to become certainly one of the more famed female directors of the 1990s and early 2000s. So that's my overall thoughts and feelings when taking a look back at the movie Blue Steel. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you have any other movies, television series, or any other issues within the pop entertainment and culture scene that you'd like to see me cover within the channel, then also drop me a suggestion within the comments, and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please don't hit like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.